everybody. I know what you're all probably thinking. My grandpa would fucking hate this guy. But I don't get that because I kind of think that I look like a veteran, but like not a real one. Like I think I look like Vietnam went just a little better for Lieutenant Dan. I'm like extended edition Lieutenant Dan. Some people have told me that I look like Robert Plant, you know, frontman from Led Zeppelin. And I could agree with that to an extent. I think that I look like Robert Plant if he ate all the lead out of the Zeppelin. I really hate the wind. Wind fucking blows, man. You know, I really wish that the states Missouri and Mississippi touched because all my life, I grew up in Louisville, so I've seen signs that say like Kentuckiana whatever, you know, you got Kentuckiana windows, cars, detailing, whatever, but I'd really like to visit a place called Missouri. Here recently, I turned ad targeting off on my phone just to see what the algorithm would give me. And I've come to the conclusion that Facebook thinks that I'm depressed and I have trouble getting hard, which is only half right. But YouTube is under the impression that I'm a Spanish-speaking Christian veteran who loves to play pickleball and trade cryptocurrency, all while suffering from moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis. So I've really been overanalyzing a lot of things. Like I've heard people talk about fudging the numbers, but I've never heard anybody mention anything about carameling the numbers. Or I've never heard anybody talk about vanilla-ing the numbers. Nobody's ever been fired from their job because they were cinnamoning the numbers. Did you guys ever hear about the suicidal candy confectioner? He blue raspberried his brains out. I heard he was in a jam. He was probably cinnamoning the numbers. You know, I'm a weird guy, but I think that's because if we treated personal trauma like athletic abilities, I'd be on everybody's fantasy team. What you guys are looking at up here, Michael Jordan of clinical depression. You know, when I was a boy, my grandmother used to always tell me, Ryan, you wear your heart on your sleeves and you carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I've always thought that was an incredibly sweet way to call your grandson a pussy. You know, growing up, my stepdad smoked crack and my mom liked to do pills. And I've had a couple bouts with addiction myself, so I'm pretty familiar with working the 12 steps, but I think I look like I kick flipped them. I'm like Tony Hawk Pro Snorter. 4th of July just happened. Everybody have a good 4th of July weekend? Couple people? Hell yeah. I took my mom to see some fireworks for the 4th of July, but now everybody in my family's really mad at me because apparently I ruined her gravesite. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm not really religious, but that's only because my dad is a Christian, and if he's going to heaven, I don't want to. Actually, one time my crack smoking stepdad showed up to my dad's house and like slashed his tires and like was out in the front yard like, come out here and I'll kill you, motherfucker. Like, and I just think that's the most anybody's ever wanted to see my dad. So I got a lot of trauma, but it didn't all come from adults in my life. Like when I was a kid, I didn't join the Boy Scouts because I didn't want to get diddled. But I also never joined the Boy Scouts because I would have hated to have been the one kid who didn't get touched. There's no way that my self-esteem can handle being too ugly for a pedophile. Joke's on me though, because I didn't join the Boy Scouts and, you guessed it, still got molested. At least they could tie any knot you could name. I couldn't even hang myself if I wanted to. But I always washed my hands before dinner, and I may have been the first person to ever say, oh no, stepbrother, what are you doing? That's all I wrote for tonight, so thank you guys.